Activity: trending analysis of addictions. Duration: 1 hour. The objective of this activity is to help learners classify different types of addictions and analyze its trends within their communities. Step 1. Classify the following addictions into substance and behavioral addictions: inhalants, nomophobia, heroin, central nervous system, CNS, depressants, exercise, alcohol, sex, benzodiazepines, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, kleptomania, barbiturates, internet, pornography, fentanyl, gaming, gambling, mythomania, risk-taking, synthetic cannabinoids, exercise, ketamine, LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, tobacco, nicotine, PCP, synthetic cathinones, methamphetamine, MDMA, ecstasy, work, cocaine, morphine, cannabis, marijuana. Answer: substance addictions: alcohol, tobacco, nicotine, central nervous system, CNS, depressants, barbiturates, benzodiazepines, inhalants, cocaine, heroin, LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, methamphetamine, MDMA, ecstasy, PCP, cannabis, marijuana, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, ketamine, synthetic cannabinoids, synthetic cathinones, fentanyl, morphine. Behavioral addictions: gambling, gaming, internet, sex, exercise, work, mythomania, pornography, kleptomania, exercise, nomophobia, risk-taking. Step 2. Create groups and ask them to discuss together which of the addictions above are more trending in themselves, in a social circle, community, and region. Step 3. Ask each group to present the trending addictions identified. Step 4. Make some reflections together through the following questions. What addictions are the most common ones? What factors do you think contribute to the prevalence of certain types of addictions over others? What role do societal attitudes and perceptions play in shaping addiction trends? What patterns or trends do you notice in the types of addictions classified? Do you think these trends change among other groups of age? If so, how? Below, you will find the most common drugs. In order to prevent misinformation, the primary sources about these substances were the National Institute on Drug Abuse and the United States Drug Enforcement Administration due to their high reliability, reputation, and accuracy. Central nervous system, CNS, depressants. They are also commonly named benzos. They are medicines that slow down the brain activity. Common forms of central nervous system depressants include pills, capsules, and liquid formulations, which are mostly ingested by swallowing or, less commonly, injected. They can generate sedative, muscle relaxation, reduce anxiety, and other effects. Doctors frequently prescribe them to treat sleep problems, muscular spasms, panic disorders, anxiety disorders, etc. At short term, central nervous system depressants can cause tiredness, sleepiness, slurred speech, low concentration, decreased blood pressure, confusion, vertigo, coordination difficulties, memory problems, and reduced respiratory rate. They are usually given for short-term usage and with caution measures. The bad use and consumption without medical prescription can lead to addiction. Furthermore, when they are no longer needed, it is necessary that a doctor supervises gradually the reduction of its dosage in order to prevent side effects and withdrawal symptoms. For example, barbiturate withdrawal can cause an abstinence syndrome that could lead to seizures. Caution. These drugs should not be consumed with other drugs, such as alcohol, other CNS depressant medications, and opioids. This can slow down breathing and heart rates, leading to death. Examples of central nervous system depressants: barbiturates, pentobarbital, butalbital, butabarbital, etc. Benzodiazepines, chlorodiazepoxide, alprazolam, lorazepam, diazepam, triazolam, clonazepam, demoxepam, etizolam, mirazolam, nordiazepam, triazolam, etc. Sleep medicines: isopiclone, zolpidem, zalplon. Cocaine. Coca plant is originally from South America and was used by our ancestors many years ago. Its leaves are processed to obtain cocaine, a potent stimulant drug. People also refer to cocaine as coke, blow, snow, powder, white, rock, soda cod, crack, nose candy, C, Charlie, yayo, dust, toot, flake, line, etc. Cocaine causes that dopamine builds up at the interface between NAC cells and VTA cells, boosting pleasure that sensitize the brain to drug exposure in the future. People can consume it by dissolving and injecting intravenously. They can have it as a white powder that is usually snorted through the nose, or transformed into a crystalline form called crack cocaine that is smoked. Cocaine causes the body temperature, heart rate, and blood pressure to rise. It also makes pupils to dilate and blood vessels to constrict. It can also generate symptoms including headaches, nausea, and stomach pain. Psychologically, this substance causes strong euphoric emotions, an increase in energy and alertness. These effects sometimes are accompanied by sleeplessness and restlessness. Some persons can have the opposite effect, for example, paranoia, panic attacks, anxiety, and even aggressive conduct. It can also cause psychosis, which is characterized by a disassociation from reality. Cocaine has a significant risk in users' cardiovascular health, causing irregular heartbeats, heart attacks, and strokes. In some people, it has caused seizures or even coma. In a long term, the constant inhalation of cocaine can cause the loss of sense of smell, nasal damage, nosebleeds, and problems in swallowing. Persons who smoke it can have serious problems in their lungs. Caution! If cocaine is combined with alcohol, it can have a high risk of cardiac toxicity. Heroin. It is a substance obtained from processing morphine that is extracted from seed pods of different poppy plants. This drug usually appears as a white or brownish powder, but it can also be introduced as black tar heroin, that is a sticky black material. Moreover, heroin can also be known as smack, horse, junk, H, dope, skeg, brown, China white, chiva, dragon, boy, big H, diesel, skunk, etc. It is often consumed by injections, smoking, and snorting. Heroin activates mu-opioid receptors in the reward center of the brain, stimulating the release of dopamine, causing a reinforcement of drug-taking behavior. Therefore, heroin is addictive. Although this drug can cause a rush of pleasure, it causes serious harms to people's bodies. It starts with warm flushes on the skin, heavy feeling in arms and legs, and dry mouth. It also causes vomits, nausea, and skin irritation. More severe symptoms on people include collapsed veins, abscesses, and infections of the heart's valves. Prolonged heroin addiction raises the risk of further health issues such as constipation, stomach pains, liver or kidney damage, and pneumonia. Caution! This drug should not be consumed with alcohol, as it can slow down breathing and heart rates, leading to coma or death. LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide. It is a strong psychedelic substance made from lysergic acid, a chemical found naturally in ergot, a fungus that frequently infests crops like rye. It is well known for causing drastic changes in consciousness and perception of the reality. People also refer to it as acid, Lucy, tabs, trips, doses, blotter, yellow, sunshine, boomers, zen, heavenly blue, mind candy, Alice, spirit, golden dragon, etc. LSD can appear in several ways, such as tablets, capsules, and transparent liquids. Moreover, it can be distributed as microdots, which are saturated sugar cubes. Also, it can be smeared into little absorbent paper squares called blotters that have elaborated decorations. This drug can be swallowed. When consuming the paper squares, people usually place them on or under their tongues, where the substance is absorbed through the mucous membranes of the mouth. In all its formats, this substance acts as a carrier of the strong psychedelic effects. Short-term effects of LSD include dramatic mood swings, reality distortion, distorted perception of objects, time, movements, the consumer's image, sound, etc. The incapability of taking good decisions and assess risks is also another effect, where the users can be in real danger. Increased body temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, dizziness, dilated pupils, and shivers are among the physiological reactions. But the effects of LSD do not stop there. If used repeatedly, it can cause horrifying flashbacks known as hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, HPPD. Long after the drug has left the body, these episodes are marked by persistent visual abnormalities. At long term, this drug also produces disordered thinking, paranoia, and unpredictable mood swings. Methamphetamine. Many people also call this substance, colloquially, as meth, crystal, ice, glass, crank, tina, chalk, shards, go, yaba, Christina, tweak, rocket fuel, etc. This drug can be found in white powder or tablets. Moreover, crystal methamphetamine looks like glass shards or glossy blue-white rocks of different sizes, which can be seductive, especially for youngsters. People consume it through different ways, smoking or injection. It enters the bloodstream and brain very fast, producing an instantaneous, strong rush. It lasts for just a few minutes. Snorting causes a less intense rush within 3 to 5 minutes after its consumption. Oral ingestion produces a less intense rush within 15 to 20 minutes after its consumption. The tremendous effects of this powerful stimulant on the body and mind are reflected in the various dangers and repercussions associated with each approach. Methamphetamine suppresses hunger and triggers a series of physiological reactions, in addition to causing a brief spike in alertness and physical activity. Along with experiencing an uncomfortable, irregular pulse, people who consume it can also have elevated blood pressure, body temperature, heart rate, and respiration. The long-term bad use of this drug is linked to a long list of negative side effects, such as mood swings, anxiety, confusion, and sleeplessness. Its neurotoxicity causes delusions, hallucinations, aggressive conduct, and paranoia, generating a negative impact in the consumer's mental health. Furthermore, its frequent misuse results in serious physical degradation, including weight loss, severe tooth decay, and skin sores from constant scratching. Caution: alcohol's depressive effects are camouflaged when methamphetamine is added. This increases the danger of alcohol overdose and placing additional danger on cardiovascular health. MDMA, ecstasy, scientifically referred to as MDMA, 3,4-methylenedioxymethamphetamine, this substance is mainly known as ecstasy. However, some of its alternative names are Molly, E, X, XTC, Adam, Beans, Love Drug, Hug Drug, Rolls, Scooby Snacks, Disco Biscuits, E-Bomb, Happy Pill, Clarity, Eve, Peace, etc. This recreational drug comes in a variety of forms, from colored tablets with printed logos to gel capsules, Molly, powder, crystal, and even liquid versions that all tempt with the prospect of momentary euphoria. This substance is frequently consumed by sniffing, crushing, or swallowing it. When this substance is consumed, it triggers a range of physiological and psychological reactions, including less inhibition, enhanced sense of well-being, empathy, etc. Some consumers have an increased sensory experience, and some others become willing to speak about their emotionally charged memories. At long term, this drug causes confusion, depersonalization, depression, sleep problems, and cognitive impairment, affecting attention and memory. In addition, people may have increased anxiety, impulsivity, and a significant decrease in desire for sexual activity. Caution: it is noteworthy that alcohol has the ability to increase plasma concentrations of MDMA, which increases the danger of neurotoxic consequences. Moreover, its combination with amphetamines, marijuana, alcohol, caffeine, and the amphetamine-like mephedrone can increase the risk the negative effects. PCP, phencyclidine, or PCP, as it is more often known, is a monument to the dangers that can arise while using dissociative drugs, a class of hallucinogens that are well known for causing a profound disassociation from reality. PCP was first created as an intravenous anesthetic, but it was later withdrawn because of its tendency to cause severe side effects that affected several people. For example, in Spain, it was used in the 50s. PCP can be found in many different forms. It can be a clear liquid, pill, capsule, and white or colored powder. PCP can be administered in a variety of ways. Users can choose to inject, inhale, swallow, or even smoke the drug. While smoking, this drug is frequently mixed with innocuous substances like marijuana, mint, parsley, or oregano. For example, a cigarette of marijuana dipped in liquid PCP is called dipper. People also call PCP as angel dust, sherm, rocket fuel, embalming fluid, hog, ozone, whack, killer weed, supergrass, zoom, tic tac, love boat, trank, etc. This dissociative drug can generate a wide range of symptoms in the short term, from severe cognitive impairment to paranoia, delusions, anxiety, and hallucinations. Minimal PCP dosages might cause a modest increase in breathing, as well as shallow breathing, red face, sensory abnormalities, including numbness in the limbs, problem movements, and elevated heart and blood pressure. Higher dosages cause salivating, nausea, vomiting, involuntary eye movements, lack of balance, and aggressiveness. Seizures, coma, or even death may result in the worst circumstances, highlighting the serious hazards associated with its use. Due to its chronic misuse, this substance leaves effects at long term that affect well-being, for example, memory loss, speech impairment, cognitive dysfunction, anxiety, and a significant decrease in appetite. Cannabis, marijuana. Cannabis sativa is the plant from which marijuana is derived. Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, is the primary psychoactive component that generates different effects, making this drug one of the most popular around the world. This substance is also called weed, pot, grass, ganja, Mary Jane, bud, reefer, chronic, dank, herb, skunk, dope, hash, tree, Aunt Mary, sinsemilla, etc. Its main presentations are greenish-gray mixture of dried, shredded leaves, stems, seeds, and/or flowers, joints, hand-rolled cigarettes, bongs, water pipes, blunts, cigar wraps, tea, mixed in food, brownies, cookies, cakes, etc. Candies, vaporizers, resins, hash oil, hashish, butter, shatter, etc. These formulas satisfy a range of tastes and provide a variety of experiences for their consumers. Users can consume it in a variety of ways, such as by smoking, vaping, or eating. In our nowadays society, there are still constant debates whether this drug is good or bad for health. Some people comment that it is effective in treating a variety of medical ailments, while others express worries about its hazards and negative consequences. People can have different effects while consuming it. For example, laughter, sensory perception, brighter colors, wrong awareness of time, increased desire of eating, relaxation and euphoria. Others can have a bad experience, as they can feel fear, anxiety, increased heart rate, distrust, panic, learning and memory problems, etc. All these reactions are different in each person. The long-term use of this strong psychoactive drug can lead to mental health issues, persistent cough, and an increased risk of respiratory infections. This drug can lead to marijuana use disorder, often linked to dependence. Youngsters who start consuming this substance before the age of 18 are 4 to 7 times more likely to develop this disorder. Caution: mixing this drug with alcohol increases the hazards even more, since it can raise blood pressure and heart rate. This can also worsen the impact on mental processing and reaction time. On the other hand, growing worries about the safety of THC vaping products have been aroused. Reports have connected their use to death and severe lung conditions after combining them with vitamin E acetate. Psilocybin, magic mushrooms. It is a hallucinogen component that is contained in different mushrooms. They can be referred as magic mushrooms, shrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, sacred mushrooms, blue meanies, liberty caps, golden tops, mushies, boomers, buttons, caps, cubes, silo, psilocybin, zoomers, etc. People eat the entire mushrooms or mix them with food. Moreover, they can make also tea with them. This intake sets off a voyage into the depths of the mind, where fiction and reality collide, and the lines between perceptions are blurred. They alter the states of consciousness, generating several hallucinations. Some people use this substance for self-discovery purposes. However, negative consequences of psilocybin include muscular relaxation, nausea, tiredness, movement problems, nausea, larger pupils, vomits, etc. However, psilocybin's impact goes beyond the euphoric rush of its short-term effects, raising concerns for long-term well-being. Its chronic use can produce a memory loss and flashbacks, which are specters that stay in the mind long after the trip is over. Furthermore, there is a risk of unintentional poisoning, leading to death, due to the wrong identification of the mushroom. This emphasizes the importance of avoiding these psychedelic experiences. Caution: these mushrooms can reduce the effects of alcohol when they are combined. Therefore, People should be careful in order to prevent an overdose. Ketamine. It is a dissociative medication with a complex pharmacological profile. It is used as an anesthetic for persons and animals. It is also used to treat resistant depression. This medicine is frequently available in liquid and white powder forms. Although doctors prescribe it as injections or spray nasals, under regulated circumstances, those who abuse the drug may inject, snort, smoke, or swallow it. People often combine it with tobacco or marijuana cigars. This drug is also known as K, vitamin K, Cat Valium, Jet, Kit Kat, Green, Super C, Horse Tranquilizer, Kitty Flip, Baby Food, Bump, Wonk, etc. Ketamine use can have a variety of short-term side effects, such as drowsiness, dreamy states, disorientation, and hallucinations. Moreover, users can have difficulties with memory, concentration, and learning. In addition to the psychological side effects, it also causes decreased breathing and elevated blood pressure. The repeated use of this drug is associated with a broad list of detrimental health implications. It can lead to depression, stomach aches, renal issues and bladder ulcers, and pain. Synthetic cannabinoids. They are a wide range of herbal mixes infused with synthetic cannabinoid compounds similar to the THC, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, present in marijuana, but is considered as more strong and dangerous. They are divided in 7 structural groups: naphtholindols, e.g. JWH 018, JWH 073, and JWH 398. Naphthylmethylindols, naphthylpyrols, naphthylmethylindines, phenylacetylindols, i.e. benzoylindols, e.g. JWH 250. Cyclohexylphenols, e.g. CP 47,497, and homologs of CP 47,497. Classical cannabinoids, e.g. HU 210. These compounds are far different from the real plant, coming with their own set of hazards, including poisoning. These products, which are marketed as natural, safe, and legal substitutes for marijuana, conceal their risks behind an air of authenticity. It looks similar to natural cannabis, making people think they are consuming the original one without knowing they could be in danger. Synthetic cannabinoids are found in several forms, but they usually take the shape of dried and shredded plant material that has a similarity to potpourri. These chemicals are sold under names like incense, K2, spice, demon, Yucatan, spike, zohai, genie, dream, skunk, crazy clown, serenity, ninja, sense, paradise, fire, etc., hiding their actual nature and drawing unwary customers into a potentially dangerous situation, as these products carry poisoning risks. These substances are consumed by smoking or eating them. Other people choose to make tea with it. A list of short-term negative health impacts demonstrate the dangerousness of these substances, such as vomits, agitation, disorientation, increased heart rate and blood pressure, and a startling range of psychological symptoms, including hallucinations, anxiety, and paranoia. Moreover, these drugs have contributed to an increased number of visits to the hospitals. Synthetic cathinones, a class of stimulants that are processed having a relation with cathinone, which is a chemical found in a plant called cat. 3 prominent members of this family are methadone, methylone, and 3,4-methylene-deoxypyrovalerone, MDPV. They possess strong effects on the central nervous system. These drugs are also referred as bath salts, flakka, ivory wave, vanilla sky, cloud 9, lunar wave, bliss, stardust, white lightning, scarface, blue silk, purple wave, ocean burst, lunar wave, bloom, etc. They come in a variety of forms. They are often found as crystalline powder, either white or brown, and are covered in tiny plastic or foil packages with warnings that state that they are not for human consumption. These compounds frequently pass for harmless goods. Some are even sold as jewelry cleaners, which is a dishonest tactic to avoid regulatory inspection. Synthetic cathinones can also be liquids, pills, or capsules, which makes it more difficult to keep an eye on their consumption and distribution. These different presentations provide users the opportunity to consume it in different ways. They can choose to inject, snort, or swallow them to experience their stimulant effects. But the short-lived bliss and heightened socializing and sex desire that come with using them conceal serious dangers. Synthetic cathinones have the potential to cause a wide range of immediate effects, such as increased blood pressure and heart rate, agitation, paranoia, hallucinations, aggressive behavior, depression, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, thinking problems, and reduced motor control. Therefore, it is important to emphasize how unpredictable these powerful drugs might be. Synthetic cathinones represent an existential threat to individuals, with death standing as the ultimate result of their irresponsible experimentation. Medical opioids. Some examples of prescribed opioids and their most common forms are codeine, tablet, capsule, liquid; fentanyl, lozenge, sublingual tablet, buccal tablet, film; hydrocodone or dihydrocodeinone, tablet, capsule, liquid; hydromorphone, suppository, liquid; meperidine, tablet, liquid; methadone, tablet, dispersible tablet, liquid; morphine, tablet, capsule, suppository, liquid; oxycodone, tablet, capsule, liquid; oxymorphone, tablet. These drugs have a double-edged sword. From the medical side, they are well known for their effectiveness in reducing pain. On the dark side, they produce euphoria, which makes users vulnerable to its bad use. For example, codeine with promethazine can be prescribed to reduce coughing, running nose, etc. But some people go beyond their original medical purpose, as they can make a drink called lean or sizzurp. Although it provides pain relief, this substance can cause a range of side effects, such as nausea, constipation, drowsiness, etc. In addition, its misuse is dangerous, as it increases the risk of trapping vulnerable users in a vicious cycle of dependency and hopelessness. Consumers can also have an overdose. Caution! It is of high importance not to mix these substances with alcohol, as they can produce a fatal effect. They can reduce respiration and heart rates, which can lead to coma or even death. Now, it is important that these drugs are consumed only for medical purposes, with the constant control of a doctor. Activity: the sticker album.
Duration: 3 hours. The main objective of this educational and fun activity is that learners create a sticker album and audios, in case of people with visual difficulties, that shows different drugs and their typical forms.
Step 1. Ask learners to read individually the entire subchapter, Types of Drugs and Effects. Step 2. Divide your learners into groups. Ask them to look in books or internet for pictures of the following drugs: central nervous system, CNS, depressants, cocaine, heroin, LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, methamphetamine, MDMA, ecstasy, PCP, cannabis, marijuana, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, ketamine, synthetic cannabinoids, synthetic cathinones, medical opioids. Learners should look for pictures that show each drug in all of its typical forms. For example, images of the drug in pill, liquid, powder, plant, etc. The different forms for each substance are described in the same subchapter. For people with visual impairments, it is important that they search sensory aspects that make them able to identify these drugs, for example, texture, smell, etc. Step 3. Give to learners different materials for creating a big sticker album, such as cardboards, color paper sheets, etc. Encourage them to express their creativity in the layout of their sticker album. For example, they can draw each of the drugs, add effects on the pictures, etc. They can also decorate its pages by using markers, watercolors, or other creative items. It is important that learners label each image to increase the album's educational value. This will also help them to reinforce the identification of each substance. Furthermore, learners should also make a small summary of the drug, including the physical and psychological effects that they produce. In the case of people with visual impairments, instead of creating an album, they can create small audios for each of the drugs. Step 4. Ask each group to present their albums or audios. Step 5. Ask the following groups: are you able to identify each of the drugs? Do you think they look inoffensive? Did you know the dangers that each of the drugs can cause? Is it worth for your health to consume them? Step 6. Lastly, put the finished sticker albums on full display in the facilities so that other people who did not participate in the activity can also view it. Share audios in social media. This will enable learners to educate their friends in recognizing drugs and their dangers.